So we should now be live. Yep, here we go. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. This disembodied voice is Caitlin from the marketing team, and I will be keeping an eye on chat to grab any questions you may have. So please do ask questions. But do keep in mind also that the stream is like 5 seconds, 10 seconds behind what we're actually doing live. So it may take us a second to see your question. And so, without further ado, I'll hand it over to Madeline and Blaine.
Yeah, welcome. This is a pairing session. We have the option for the community to request pairing sessions with core team members. We haven't been getting any requests, so today I am going to be pairing with Blaine as he teaches me about TypeScript. I don't know much about it at all. I am a staff engineer on our core team specializing in accessibility, and I'll let Blaine introduce himself.
Hey, what's up, people? I'm a staff engineer also on the core team, kind of just working on the core open source project as a whole. And so one of the big initiatives we had recently is to convert our code base over to TypeScript. So I've been leading that charge. I'm excited to chat today, work through some stuff, and hopefully show people how we are going about our migration. So yeah, should we dive into it?
Yeah, let's talk about this issue.
Cool. So we have this big umbrella issue right now on our Gatsby page. We had it pinned. I'll repin it so that way if you go to our issues, it's at the top and you can see it. But just a big TypeScript migration. We're trying to convert kind of our core code bases to TypeScript. If you look at Gatsby, we have 40 packages in there. We're not doing all of them right now. That would be a lot of work and a lot of pull requests. But we are doing there's an outline of 6 packages that we're going to convert, and we want your help doing it. We've actually gotten a lot of great help from the community so far. I didn't count this morning, but I counted the other day, and there was 109 pull requests submitted for just conversions. And I think 70 of them have been merged, something like that. It's been awesome. It's been great. And we want more of that. So today's highlight is kind of just show you kind of how we're going about our migration, and get you guys excited to get more involved and help us out in this too. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. Should we do a high level of why we're going to TypeScript?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. So until now, our code base has been just pure JavaScript, and we had some flow declarations moved around in different parts. And the flow declarations were primarily contributed from community members. And I think half a year ago, we turned off the flow checker entirely because it just wasn't getting the proper maintenance, and we weren't getting the benefits from the type system that you want. So we decided to move to TypeScript just for a couple of reasons. There's more community support around it. There's it's a little bit easier to adopt because there's so much more community packaging of types that are already available, and requires a little bit less effort from you. I personally still love Flow, and I hope that that team continues and the product keeps growing. So maybe that's a thing to explore more later on. But we chose TypeScript primarily just for the ease of migration right now. There's a couple other benefits. Is that once you fully adopt TypeScript, you can start breaking your builds and stuff much easier than Flow. So if you're working on something and the types don't work out, don't waste your time loading up a browser or running some tests and waiting for that. The point of a type system is to try and give you feedback much sooner of your code isn't correct yet. And TypeScript isn't a silver bullet either. We realize that it's not going to prevent us from having bugs, but it's going to definitely prevent us from shipping a certain class of bugs, the easy ones where it's we call the function with an incorrect parameter. And this could be even deep through a stack that's hard for us to mentally trace, but computers are really good at following these rabbit holes and being up here, this was a string and you want it to be a number, so that's not going to work out. So we definitely had some issues in the past where we had little bugs that should have been caught, should have been prevented, that were just errors and mistakes in programming. Could have called it with the correct function, had the wrong arguments, missed some things. So TypeScript's going to definitely help us ship better code and prevent causing you, our end users, frustration. So it's going to be great. We're excited about it.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah. So
one thing that I was concerned about when I heard that we were moving to TypeScript was like, how approachable is this going to be for our community as someone who doesn't know TypeScript? So today we will, we'll show that it is approachable. I'm excited.
Today we Madeline's first time doing TypeScript. I'm going to help her migrate one of our files over to TypeScript, and we're going to put up a pull request. So in this TypeScript migration umbrella issue, if you scroll down, there's like a whole list of, we outlined all the files that we're converting, and people can put their names next to them if they're like going to claim it, and like the pull request once it's up. And so there's a whole handful that are still like unclaimed. And so today I thought maybe the easiest to do and the most beneficial within our time constraint is doing some Redux stuff. So Gatsby internally uses Redux as like this data store to like keep saving and caching data as it moves along in its various steps. So it's kind of helpful because a lot of people use Redux in their like application code. So seeing Redux get typed might be helpful. So we're going to look at one of these reducers, and I think the status reducer is probably our easiest first step.
Yeah. So if we hop over into our actual code base here, you'll see that under packages, we have the Gatsby package. And then within that, we have Redux for managing that state. And so we're going to look at the status reducer and convert this to TypeScript. How do we usually start with approaching a file like this, Blaine?
Yeah. So first, you just have to change the file to a TypeScript file. That's when like your IDE will start recognizing different things, and the TypeScript checker can like validate it. So just change the extension.
I'll just rename it?
Yeah, rename it to .ts instead of .js.
You got it. Nope, not SS.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, already I'm getting like, we don't like this.
Yep. Yeah, so it's going to start showing you things that are like not typed, or like they don't know what it is. TypeScript will try and like infer things, but one of our goals with migrating to TypeScript is to be as declarative as possible and like not do anything magical or hard to like understand. Just as when you're writing regular code, you don't want to like write very obtuse code that's hard for somebody to read later on. Like we also don't want to create these complex types that are hard to reason about. So a couple things to note. We are no longer in a common JS format. We're in like a module format. So our module.exports isn't quite correct anymore. So the first thing I always do is change this to like a named export. So I would just change it to like export const status reducer. Probably works.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. The other thing that we have to do is, so in TypeScript, TypeScript can like get the type definitions out of dependencies if you use the import statements. It doesn't work if you use require statements. So I always want to change those like top level imports to using ES6 imports instead of requires. Ooh, one of the like little thing is, yeah, you have to use regular quotes.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
They don't work with backticks.
On it.
Nice. Cool. So
it really wants the double quotes.
It wants the double quotes.
It does.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever, we can deal
Make
with
it pretty. Okay.
Later. Yeah.
There we go.
Cool. So that's like at least taking care of like the module imports and exports. Now it's like we can actually do the typing stuff.
Yay.
So I think it's easiest to just start at like the function inputs and stuff. So sure. Obviously this one's starting to like complain already that it's like doesn't know what this is. So high level quick, we are using combined reducers in Redux. So I don't know if y'all know how this works, but like in the reducers/index file, we export this kind of like map of key to function values. And what happens is when you use combined reducer, so that export right there gets thrown into combined reducer. And what that does is it like maps like that state key. Like, so in our case, we're doing the status. So where status is the state key, gets mapped to this function. So in our reducer for status, we're not actually getting like the entire state tree. We're just getting the status subtree. So luckily, we already have this typed out a little bit, so we can actually just import the type for our state tree and assign it to this. So what you want to do, Madeline, is import. Let me look at what it's called.
Huh?
Let me look at what it's called. Okay, import.
Where is it?
And then so it's in redux/types.ts.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so this giant type grab bag. So we have this type export called Gatsby state.
Okay. Gatsby state. Cool.
So we want to import that. And it's a destructured import.
Oh, yep, you got it. I know that my typing is not the most, like my keyboard use is not the most efficient, but
It's all good.
Okay, and this is from
like backbacks /
types.
Yep.
Rad. Okay.
Yeah. So
now we have
this
some
is
types
actually
in the file.
Yeah. So this is actually the entire state tree, and since we only have like a subselection, we can actually. The cool thing about types is you can like grab a type from underneath. So we want to assign the state variable right here to iGatsby state. So what you want to do is you do a colon after state.
State.
And that's basically telling like that's going to be a type definition. So yeah, iGatsby state. And then use like that bracket notation when you're doing like object syntax. You put like the two square brackets.
Mm-hmm.
And then inside is a quote that's status. So
okay.
basically that
so we're taking
like
the status part of iGatsby state.
Yep.
Okay.
So that now technically is correct. Like state is those things, but I'm guessing it's warning us for something. If we hover over, what does it say?
It's still upset that we don't have a return type on the function.
Oh, okay.
And
you
then
can actually
property plugins hash is missing in type, so it doesn't know what this is.
Yeah. Okay. So we can take care of that, like the return type, really quick. So with reducers, you always like are given the state as an input and the state as an output. So you can just copy that type as like the function return. And so the syntax for that is at the end of like this parens for the start of the function before the arrow, do another colon iGatsby state status thing.
After the parens?
After the parens, before the arrow.
Huh? Sorry.
After the parens, before the arrow. You got it.
We do have a question, if this is an okay time to jump in.
Yeah.
Sure. So Mark Figart asks, can they use Gatsby? Can they use TypeScript with Gatsby today, or do they have to wait for Gatsby to cross some threshold of evolution?
Great question. As I understand it today, there is a plugin called Gatsby Plugin TypeScript that does something for you. I haven't tested it. Maybe we can pull up the docs. I'm pretty sure this allows you to use TypeScript in your code base today to an extent. I think it allows you basically to use TypeScript in your actual React components, but not in like your Gatsby config and Gatsby node stuff yet. A little spoiler for you is on our roadmap for this quarter is to enable TypeScript by default for Gatsby users. So use Gatsby plugin TypeScript for now, and sometime in the next couple months, you will be able to use TypeScript everywhere in a Gatsby project without any configuration.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Cool. Okay, so what are we...
Okay, so we set the state for what we are returning. We set the state for what state is, and I think it's still upset that we haven't said what plugins are.
Yes. Okay, so if you notice, let's go look at iGatsby state and look at the status field.
Sure. Aha.
There you go. So status is an object of two keys, plugins and plugins hash. And so in our reducer, we're like defining this like default argument for when state doesn't exist. And we're only defining plugins. So TypeScript saying like,
where's this plugin hash?
Well, we Okay, so go back to status.ts.
Yeah.
So if you notice, like in some of these reducers, it returns like a plugin hash. But yeah, exactly, right there, you got it. We're not defining a plugin hash right there.
Okay, and this is plugin hash.
And I think we probably just set it to an empty string.
Just an empty string?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The interesting thing about migrating TypeScript is like there's a good chance it'll reveal some bugs in your existing code. So like this is a area that we might need to test. Like there might be some expected behavior for plugins hash to like not exist or like not be a string.
Ooh, okay.
Which this could break. So I don't think we'll go through the whole like testing process today because that can take some time. But just something to be aware of is like we're technically changing behavior here.
Okay.
Cool. So that should be that. And now what else is it upset about?
Okay, so this is now upset about styling. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay, can I just hang on, quick fix. Huh? Yeah. Fix all auto-fixable problems. Okay, so it was upset about formatting. We are past that now. Go away.
Cool, yeah. So
now clearly we're missing plugins hash here too.
Yeah. So I think probably the right thing to do is the same thing.
Yep, to just set it to the default.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think there's kind of like two potential outcomes here. Like one, we could like do this empty string and test and see if like we break anything.
Yep.
And if it does break something, like somewhere they did a type of plugins hash equals string type check, and we would change it to undefined and also update the type itself to like say it can be a string or undefined.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you leaning towards?
I feel like it's always best to like simplify the types. So if we can assume that like a string is always safe, then like let's just go with a string. But it's just like a hard trade-off. Like we don't want to like TypeScript can run you down this rabbit hole where you're like touching their 100 files just to like make everything work correctly. And obviously that just doesn't work. Like you can't submit a pull request of 100 files and like it's too hard to follow and know if it's mergeable and things like that.
Sure.
So
we got another question if I can jump in. This is from Juanma Perezvar, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing. They ask, or they say, they've never added a string into the array declaration like Gatsby state bracket status. What is that for?
Yep. So that is grabbing a subtype out of a type. So Gatsby state is this like interface. So if you use that bracket declaration, you can grab any of these types out of here. So since we're grabbing status, we're actually getting this like type that's like the object with plugins and plugin hash. You can do the same thing with any of those other areas. So it's just like pulling out a type within a nested type object structure. Hopefully that answers. If that's not clear, maybe we can find a better way to explain it. Cool. So the other thing is like we also want to make sure that all of our inputs and outputs are typed. I think that's the easiest way for us to like at a glance see our code and understand it. So right now I think action needs a type.
I agree.
Yes. So we need to create this action, I'm pretty sure. I think that in types.ts we are exporting like all the different like actions. Scroll down. Yeah, so we have this. Yeah, so this giant actions union, and I don't think there's one that exists for set status. So we should create that.
Okay. So we need to create an interface for setting the status, and then make sure that it's in there.
Yes.
Cool.
Exactly. So basically, just like copy one of these, and then we'll
snag this one, and we'll put it here. And this should be set status.
The type, I believe, is always set status.
Yes. Status.
And then we have to figure out what the payload is. So it's kind of like a detective game here now. It's like
Okay.
do like use cases and seeing like if we can figure out ourselves what the payload is. It might be. I think in this situation, status is pretty simple. Where we might be able to look at the reducer just now
Mm-hmm.
and the other type. So, oh, actually, the type is not set status. So all these case statements.
It's all of these.
Yeah.
These are all setting the status.
So we have to create interfaces for all these.
Yes. All right. Let's do that. Okay. So we need this one. Should we prefix them with like set status and then the thing?
No, the type string has to match up exactly.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Fuzzy morning brain, y'all.
It's always weird to like start adopting a type system. Like I remember when I first did it, it was like, what is the syntax? Like, what's the achieving?
Here, we're gonna put this over here and do this. Okay, so we've got. Why are you upset? Same type.
Oh, it's because okay, so you just need to change the name of this interface.
I see.
Yeah. There's this like weird thing with this is kind of
it's looking out for me.
Yeah, it's like this advanced feature of like TypeScript where you can like if you declare an interface with the same name of some other interface, it actually extends it, even though you're like it's like an implicit extension. It's weird.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why I was complaining. Is like above you had a type already defined and you're changing it.
I can do things. And
Cool. Okay. Now we gotta do the detective game on the payload stuff.
Yep,
So
let's figure out this payload stuff.
So we don't actually have a set status type, so I think we can delete that one.
Sorry. Oh, yeah. We don't need this.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying?
Yep.
Rad.
Okay. So the top, scroll to the top in the status.ts file.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So delete cache. It doesn't look like it even gets anything else besides the action.type because within that case, we're not using anything from the action.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that type just delete the payload off of the delete cache interface.
Say that again?
Okay, sorry, you're on a different wavelength. I'll go with where you're at. Okay, so you're typing the action right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that. So basically, right here is just going to be a union of all these different ones that you just created.
Right. Do we want to create a union like this one?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard. So there's like a weird nuance here where like the status reducer, I looked before this call. The status reducer is called from Gatsby CLI, and there's no like action actually defined in Gatsby's code base for this one. It's kind of weird, and I don't really love the architecture of it, but I don't think we should try and rewrite the universe.
Right.
So I think that it's probably fine just to like do the union in this file.
Okay, cool.
So import all those action interfaces you just created, and then create a union.
Let's go through and remember what I called all of those. I delete cat, not delete cat. Oh yeah, that's right. That was right. I update plugin status action and I set plugin status action. Okay, those are the ones that we just created.
Yep.
Okay, and then we are gonna like inline create a union of these.
Yeah.
How do?
So basically, just like put all like do I delete cache action and then a pipe, and then the next one, and then a pipe.
Okay. Yeah.
Pipe is like that. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Update. Okay.
Yeah, so
I think it no, that's right.
here's it
Sorry,
save.
I'm making sure that things are matching up.
I think it's a prettier thing again.
But Prettier is still upset. Okay. Come on, Prettier.
You can turn prettier on to like format on save. That's what I would do. Just save in like your structure.
I definitely should be doing that. But I'm not going to do that right this second.
So I'll explain a little bit quick here because like there's a really cool thing happening here. So this union, basically what it's saying is like this action variable can be any of these types. It's not necessarily going to be a combination of any types. It's just like this variable could embody any of these types based on how this function is called. So when we're doing this like switch case and we're matching by the type key, since the type is a direct literal string where it's like we're not just like saying it's like a string, like any random string, we're saying it's like a specific string of like delete cache or a specific string of update plugins hash. TypeScript is able to know that when we're inside that case statement, the type of the action must match to like the one defined. So inside of case update plugins hash, that action.payload, it knows that it has to be from the I update plugins hash action interface.
Okay.
So it's really cool. That's kind of like the power of like TypeScript and stuff is you can do this in temp logic to know like these types are sound. Cool. So now what we need to do is go through each action and like update the payloads and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay, so the first one, delete cache. It's not using the payload at all.
Nope.
So I think we can just delete it out of the interface.
Out of the interface. Rad. We just have a type.
It's just a type and it just like resets the state.
Cool.
The next one, plugins hash. It looks like it's only using the actions.payload to assign to the plugins hash. And we know that the plugins hash is just a string.
Okay.
So payload isn't even an object here. It's just a string.
Okay. So like that?
Yep.
Rad. Okay.
All right. And then set plugin status looks a little more complicated.
Yep.
I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you do this one.
You're going to let me do this one?
Yeah. Pressure. I'll help you. Like, I just want to like.
Okay. This
describe
one's
the whole thing.
interesting because instead of a payload, it has a plugin.
Yep.
So, and the plugin should have a name or should not have a name. Hang on. Or the payload is an object. So plugin status.
I think that we have a plugin type definition already.
Do we?
So maybe like search this file real quick.
Yeah.
Do a plugin search. Yeah.
This. Ooh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like,
So this is
plugin.
going to be. Can I just say plugin?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yep.
That's really cool. Okay. And then.
Interesting thing happening here.
Type never. Okay. Oh, that's because it's not saved. This is just checking to see if we don't have an object for the payload. All we care about is the payload having an object, or.
Yeah, it seems like it's just like some runtime safety measures. Because I think that this gets exposed to like Gatsby node things.
Okay, how do I say that I want the payload to be in? We just want the payload.
Yeah, you just want the payload. Because like there's a chance that like somebody who's using this thing isn't using TypeScript, and so they wouldn't get like our type safety. So they need like some like runtime safety. So I think that like these checks here are still good, but we don't have to like necessarily assert against them. We could.
What do we say the payload is when we are writing the interface, though?
So you can make things like optional by putting a question mark on them. So before yeah. So
Okay.
saying like this could be called without it, and then we just type the payload itself. That's probably actually the correct thing to do since we are handling the case where it's not passed.
What do you mean type the payload itself?
So what is payload here? Like, let's scroll down a little bit. I think we can't really see what payload is being used for.
It just looks like it's always passed right through.
Yeah, and so okay, so it's like this. This is confusing. So what's happening here is when this one's called, we're returning the status state.
Mm-hmm.
We're appending plugins. We're adding to the plugins because we're spreading plugins again. So it's like basically it's like appending a new one on the end.
Okay.
So plugin's name. We don't actually need underscore here. We can just do a spread ourselves.
Oh,
We
sure.
can get rid of this. Yeah.
Okay.
Then make that an object, and we'll just spread these last two things. And do
Okay. Here. So here's our object, and we can spread
state
plugin. This thing.
Yeah. Basically those two lines.
Both. Yeah. Bloop. Hang on. I can do things.
And then I think we also need to spread action.payload.
Huh?
Looks like we need to spread action.payload also.
Oh, we're going to spread both of them. Yep. That makes sense. And this is from the merge. And
yeah, so that's
okay. So wait, let me now that we're not using Lodash anywhere else, are we? Oh, we are. We're doing it to check if it's an object.
Okay, we can leave that for now. Those are kind of like hard calls to make, so why not use Lodash?
Yep.
Cool. So when you spread something, that's tells me that the payload has to be an object.
Yep.
And it's going into the plugins, which we think we have a type definition for what status.plugins is. So that can kind of give us clues to what this payload must be.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at the iGatsby state status type definition again. I don't remember exactly what.
Yeah. Why? Up here? No.
Yeah,
I guess we
the one on
see.
the right. Yeah.
Okay.
And then scroll down to status.
Status just has plugins and plugins hash.
Oh, great. So we didn't really define previously what the plugin actually is, so we don't really know what this is going to be.
Right. Okay.
Interesting. Okay, so this is really hard, actually. This is where we can do one of two things. We can either start looking for call sites that would hit this and try and destructure what the thing would be,
Mm-hmm.
or we could just put a console.log and run Gatsby and look at what payload it gets then. Yeah.
What do you usually do?
I kind of do both usually, honestly. I feel like most of the time when you have these complex structures, it's kind of good to do both because our code isn't consistent quite yet. Until we have solid typing, there's a good chance that in one place we're calling it with a certain object structure and in another place we're calling it with a different object structure. And so it's hard. Then we have to figure out how to reconcile all this stuff. So it's kind of hard sometimes migrating to a TypeScript database or TypeScript code base later on because you already have all these bad programming approaches happening. So yeah, I don't know. Do you want to dive into this further? Or do you think we should switch gears and maybe just start reviewing?
What do the people in chat think would be most useful? Do you want to see us review some PRs that have already come in, or do you want to keep coding?
And by coding, we mean debugging.
Yeah. We'll wait in here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So far, not seeing anything.
Well, we could do this. Like, I have a guess on what status.plugins is.
Okay, what's your guess?
I'm guessing it's a map of like plugin name to plugin.
Okay.
So
Actually, we have a request to review PRs.
Ooh,
cool. Okay.
that's what we will do.
Let's do this. This is my idea really quick, just to see if it works, and then we'll go to PRs.
Okay.
It'd be cool. So in the types on the right, where we're defining the status,
Yep.
let's update that. So open that plugins object up, and we're going to do this thing where we're going to do like a square bracket,
Mm-hmm.
and then put name colon string. Basically, that's just saying like in this object, all the keys have to be of type string.
Okay.
Name is arbitrary. And then on the other side of the bracket, do colon plugin. So save that. And now I wonder if like in our status reducer, if like, well, then we still have to figure out what action.payload is, which I guess if my assumption is correct, then action.payload is also a plugin.
Yep.
So maybe update the type down below in the set plugin status action. And then I'll switch to
So here.
plugin, which like this interface now is weird and makes me question why we have a duplicate plugin and payload. So yeah, I don't know. Do we have any like other warnings in the status thing there? Still the action.plugin.name. I think that might be a legit bug. Oh, that might be sound. The one thing you can do to like just make sure is in Gatsby at the in your CLI run yarn type check.
Come on, friend. Yarn type check. All one word.
Yeah. Yep. And that'll run like the actual TypeScript checker just over all of our packages to like make sure. We're probably gonna get a warning about the .name, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all it was. It looks like maybe like this this set status thing has like been around for a while, and it used to be called a plugin.
Yeah. So it doesn't like the name thing still, but everything else seems unrelated.
Yeah, those are just because you have to do a yarn install. Like you don't have zip
right.
in your machine.
I have not.
You don't need to do that right now.
I called master this morning and then didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think like the way I'm reading that line right there, it looks like a bug because like if there's no action.plugin and there's no action.plugin.name, it doesn't make sense because action.plugin wouldn't exist. So .name would fail. I'm reading it. So I think that's like legacy code that hopefully isn't being used anywhere. So maybe if we spent more time with this, we would realize we can actually delete that line and delete the plugin out of the interface.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears and let's do some
gears. Okay, so we've got all these PRs that have come in. I'm even going to refresh the page. And yeah, okay.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, so there's some big ones here that we're slowly working through, like these Gatsby links and Gatsby image.
Yeah, you can tell that there's a lot going on.
There might be some small ones here. Yeah, super shout out to like some of these people in here. There's a couple of people who've been like submitting several pull requests and doing a great job. Like Motox02 has submitted so many, and he's made it really easy to merge his. Like they've been really well isolated. EOS has been doing great too, and Heresy Dev has been like picking up some like heavy hitters. So
that's amazing.
All the people, yeah, and everyone else is like doing great too. It's just taking a while to work through everything.
Well, absolutely. Well, hopefully after this, I'll be able to help out a little bit more.
Sweet.
Yeah. Do you have a sense for? Do you want to just like kind of see what these new ones are?
Yeah, let's just look. I haven't looked at them, so
you haven't looked at them.
No. I don't
Okay, let's take a look.
What we're getting into.
Rad. Files changed 10. Okay.
Okay. So look at the files.
Let's look at the files.
Cool. Yeah. So like one of the things that like is coming up in a lot of these PRs is like since we're changing from module.exports to named exports specifically,
Mm-hmm.
almost every single file that like consumes a changed file gets an update to like the new destructured import.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So that's on the type for Happy Joey.
Okay. Here are tests.
Cool. This is the actual file itself.
Yes.
So like, probably look closer at this, and then like maybe we'll pull it down and just double check some things.
Sounds good.
Cool. So yeah, basic things I look for at first is like, sweet, we're using the module imports and exports. That's good. Look at all the functions to make sure that like we are typing the inputs and outputs, which
Yep.
we're doing that at a basic level. Cool. So it seems like relatively like simple and straightforward. So
It does. Yeah.
should we like clone this one down?
Yeah. Let's pull it down. Okay. So this is that. And in here, I can say hub PR checkout and then the number of the PR. And we have switched to that branch now, and we have those changes. Oh, we have all of our changes too. I should have stashed. Hang on. Get stash. Okay. Let's like. Okay, so that stuff.
Actually, real quick, just so you don't lose your status changes.
Huh?
Your status didn't stash your status.typescript stuff.
Yes.
Because you have to add it first. So I just don't want you to lose. I don't want you to lose it. So let's do this quick.
Hang on. Get stash up. Okay, and where. And this is going to be convert redux status. Yes. Not GitScript. Sorry. Yeah. I can do things. It's fine. I have these GitHub aliases that have like helped me a ton. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay. And converting this to TypeScript. Okay, that is committed. Now I can go back to that branch. Shit. Branch. Pardon me. It's this one. Okay, here we are. We found it.
Cool.
I'm gonna get rid of this. And here we are.
Okay, so probably first thing you do is do a yarn install since he added that type package for Joey. Is it Joy or Joey or how to say it?
Not sure. I would say Joy.
Joy. And once we have that installed, then like the type system will have a better chance of like recognizing everything.
Yes.
I can't config.
Sip my coffee. If that's going to take a while, I'm tempted to go look at this pronunciation of Joy.
Probably Joy because it's from the like Project Happy.
Oh, that would make so much sense. That's like so cute.
Oh. after I tell you who made this, and then maybe it won't be so cute.
Huh?
From Walmart. It's from Walmart.
Really?
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Happy is from Walmart Labs.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing that I've used Joey in the past.
Okay,
Joey,
so
Joey.
we are installed. I'm seeing fewer squigglies here.
Fewer squealies. Cool. So one thing I like to do on these things is just like, so in your IDE, you get like all these like hover on like type things.
Yeah.
Like hover on things. So I just like kind of like look through and see if there's any place that like resolves to any. Some of these are like pretty obvious, but like if you have like a big function somewhere, which I don't even know if this file does, um, it's possible that like some of the types inside are just like resolve to any, and like we don't want things to resolve to any because then you don't really get all the benefits. As much as possible, we want things to be fully typed. So all of these are going to have type definitions because we have that package for Joey's types.
Mm-hmm.
So any of these things will resolve. But I don't know, is there any like function bodies to this, or is this just all a big Joey schema? Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's probably pretty sound then.
Should I run the yarn type check?
Yeah, of course. That gets ran in CI also. So like, if the PR passes all the green checks, like that passed. But I run it all the time too, just as like a mental check.
Well, I mean, you can look at the actual pull request, right? And where'd it go? See how the checks did here.
Oh, green. Sweet.
Looks like everything is happy in circle.
Happy joy. Yeah. So then like, probably also just like good like to like comb through the files and make sure like there's nothing extra changed.
Right.
Because like since like our code base is pretty old and has some older parts, like sometimes people take it upon them to like modernize different parts, and like that's great, but sometimes like you just got to make sure that like it doesn't have like a snuck in like bug that's not on purpose, but just can happen.
Scoped PRs are good in general. Yes.
Yes.
Should we poke around at this error schema stuff, or I mean, this looks pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So let's look up real quick. I see a couple like direct differences. Up a little bit more.
Where are you seeing them? Sorry.
Up a little bit more. I don't know how to.
Sorry.
And that. So like two, like there's like these export interfaces, which I would figure out why we have to export them, and maybe it makes sense to like move them into like a shared type file.
Mm-hmm.
This is a construct error thing. So I would check on that to see if like we should just like move these somewhere else or if it's fine.
Okay. CLI source structured errors. Okay, so it's a different package that we have, which is Gatsby CLI. And inside of structured errors, error schema. Here we are. Where's the other one? Construct error is where we are exporting
so
stuff.
the neighbors. So yeah, I think this is like an easy chance just to like move those into a shared type file. I think it's kind of weird sometimes when like one file exports interfaces to another one.
Oh, okay. So we can consolidate here.
Yeah, I would just create like a types.ts file in this structured error and like move those interfaces out.
Okay.
Like I'm sort of taking like a lazy approach to like figuring out how we're gonna like share all of our interfaces. Like, so when I say lazy approach, I just mean like make multiple types files wherever it's like related within that like the scope of the folder. So like in this case, structured errors. Like we can create types here. I don't know if like eventually we'll need to use these interfaces elsewhere.
Okay. So hang on. These are things. Hang on. Don't need those anymore.
We only need the interfaces.
Right. We only need the interfaces.
Yeah, we don't need any of the code in this file.
Right. Sorry. Thinking things. Okay. So we don't need any of this.
No.
We just want interfaces. Okay, cool.
Don't need that either.
Don't need this either. My mind's catching up with you. I'll get there.
Yeah. Or those bottom exports, nothing.
We don't need that because that's different. Okay.
And then we'll need
Why are
to
you
export
upset,
these.
friend? Well, it's because we're not using you. That's okay.
Yep. So then you just need to export each of those interfaces.
Huh?
You have to export those interfaces.
Oh, these need to be exported. Okay. Yep. We can do that.
Ooh, fancy multi-typing.
Okay. It's the one sort of efficient thing I do. I know that you can do it all from the keyboard, but I use keyboard and my mouse at the same time. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got these, and then we can import them from types instead. Wait.
Yeah, I don't.
We can get. Sorry, which one? This.
The interfaces below, like the constructor, location, position.
Sorry.
Okay. So
the ones that we
are the ones we pulled
so
out.
we need to import these now instead of exporting them from here.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Error. I structured error.
Well, I don't remember what it was though.
But all of them. It's not yelling at me.
Oh, okay. Cool.
We don't need error ID?
Nope. That was just used.
Oh, because that was using the code.
Yeah.
I understand things. Okay. And then these are going to come from types. Yep. And
boom.
Now we have a consolidated file. Cool.
Let's check error map.
Anything from here? Do we want to move this typing stuff into types now that we have one?
Yeah, I kind of think so. Why not?
Do we want the enums to go with it, right?
Sure. Why not? I'm bored.
I'm just making sure you're bored.
No, I said I'm on board.
Oh, you're on board. Okay. Sensei, gosh, Blaine.
I'm not bored. I like this stuff.
So do I. This is fun.
Export those again.
Oh, yes. I'm gonna bring more stuff over, I think. Yeah. Come here, friend. Export. And then there was stuff at the bottom of this.
Yeah.
That should this stay in here?
I would pull it out, I think. Okay, maybe we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. Let's think. Error ID is a type of errors. It's gonna be hard to pull out.
Yeah.
That's too optimistic about all this. Let's just try.
Let's import what we can already.
All right.
Okay. Optional. We need to be in here.
Like level and type.
Level needs to be in here. Hang on. Not form. From. Oops. Okay.
I think enums are my favorite feature of TypeScript.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like one thing that Flow didn't have that I was always sad about. And I get that they're kind of superfluous, they're just basically a weird object.
Okay, so there's all that stuff.
Okay, so errors.
There's all the errors.
Yeah, and errors isn't exported, right?
Errors is not an export. Errors, it goes into error ID, which is an export.
This is weird. Okay, so wait. Error ID is the key of type of errors, but an error map, which equals errors, is a record of error ID to error map entry. That feels like a weird type to me. I mean, I realize this isn't the scope of this
already Yeah, this is existing.
Yeah, just kind of goofy. Okay, we shouldn't get out of scope. So
Yeah, we've only got 5 more minutes, so
yeah, maybe just like leave it at that. Like this is probably good.
Okay, so we can consolidate this. We can push this back up, and then we can merge that PR.
Yeah.
Rad.
Well, I don't think we'll get to merge it on this call because CI takes like 20 minutes to run.
That's true. Consolidate. There's types into type file to be imported.
There was one other thing I wanted to check also.
Oh, I didn't add. Did I not add? Did I do? Oh, I understand.
So there's one other thing I want to check really
quick.
quick.
Shoot, this went into that branch. I forgot about hub.
I was wondering. I was like, usually I have to do something else.
No, yeah, I forgot how to push to hub. Hang on. Changes.
I think if you do a regular git push, it'll tell you.
My git push is an alias too. So hang on. Hub pull request.
Yeah, just do a fully typed out git push.
Do a what? Oh, do a fully typed out git push?
Yeah. Because then I think it tells you like what command you need to run. No, maybe not.
Oh man. Okay, we'll figure this out. Y'all get to see me struggle on stream.
Great.
But this is awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, you know what? That's actually what it's called, I think. I think that it did work properly, and I was just confused because I thought that Hub invented that name, but it didn't.
Amazing.
So our changes are here, and once this all passes, we can merge this in.
Yeah, we'll merge that in like 30 minutes.
Here, should I add the merge on green?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We have this handy dandy thing here where if we set this, then it knows that it should merge it once all the tests pass. Cool. So we are at the end here. Do we have any outstanding questions in the chat, Caitlin?
Nope, not yet. But, if anyone wants to jump in with topics that they would like to see in pairing sessions in the future, we're always open to stuff. And of course, you can participate in these pairing sessions yourself if you want. I don't know, Madeline, what the best way is to get in touch with people for that.
Go to this page, gatsbyjs.org/contributing/pair-programming. And we link to a forum where you can request a pairing session, and I will get into contact with you and set something up so that you can be in my position here, learning from someone on our core team.
Nice. Yeah, and if you're not already following the Gatsby Twitch channel, now's a good time to do that. And then when we do streams in the future, you'll get a little notification message. This Friday, we do have a Gatsby Web Creators session. We'll be doing like super basic intro to CSS. So if you're new, or you know somebody who's new to programming, or you have some young people who need to be occupied for an hour on Friday, that's a great option for them. I think that's about it, unless you all had anything else. Oh, I do want to take a second to thank our captioner, Sandra. Thank you so much. The captions are such a huge help. And thank you, Madeline and Blaine.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. We'll see ya.